Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Most Lolitas, no matter how long you've been in the fashion, have a wish list, and I'm no exception. I do keep a pretty good track of my wish list, I would say, and it is another part of my closet, I guess, that I like to organize. So I thought today I would show you what's on my wish list and how I organize it. I also thought this would be kind of interesting because hopefully my next video will be something related to my upcoming trip to Japan. I think actually when this video is being posted, I probably will be there. So I wanted to record and canonize, I guess, what was on my wish list at the time, so that when I come back and show you guys where I went and what I bought, maybe I'll have ticked off some of the things on my wish list. Wouldn't that be exciting? I'm gonna be talking through it, and I will screen record or show images so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. So let's get right into it. I switched all of my wardrobe tracking to Airtable last July 2024. So when it comes to my wish list, I track what's still on my wish list and what I've obtained since I started tracking it on Airtable. Before, I really just would have a big PNG that I organized in Photoshop that had a written list and examples with pictures of what I wanted, but I do like having it on Airtable a lot more because it just allows me to organize it better and store a lot more information. So I divide everything on my wish list by type of item. So main piece, headpiece, socks, in a similar way that I do my wardrobe. And then I organize it basically by priority levels. So I use high, mid, and low. And I always have a reference picture, and then I keep track of the colorways I want, the cut I want, and also a sort of estimated budget that I would pay for that dress or item. I'm not super strict with the budget just because it changes over time. Sometimes when you've been hunting for an item for really long, you're more willing to pay more for it, but it just gives me a good idea to not overspend. And then I do also like to keep track of whether it's a specific item that I'm looking for or a general item, just for my own reference. And by specific, I mean as you can see here, all of the main pieces are specific items because they're that exact piece I'm looking for and not just pink dress. I would say as a general statement, my wardrobe is really good for me. Obviously, I think that I have really built for myself a wardrobe that is very consistent, and I like it that way. For the most part, things that are on my wish list are what I consider gap fillers. They are items that I don't have an exact one of, and I would like to fill what I consider to be kind of a gap in my wardrobe. And I think you'll see what I mean as I go through it. I also generally don't prioritize buying main pieces anymore because I have close to my personal limit considering the space that I have, and I just like buying other things more. But I will start with the main pieces, so let's talk about them from low priority upwards. I think will be interesting. So in my low prio, I have 5 items right now, and that is the old school Cutso OP and the Bunny College Cutso OP, which are quite similar. And the reason I have them low prio is because I find they seem a little bit short, and I don't personally like shorter dresses. I prefer more standard or longer than a bit longer than standard. So I would want to see these in real life or talk to someone that I know owns them before I decide to buy them to see if I feel I would even really like the fit on me. Other than that, I have Sweet Jam and Milky Berry. These are low prio because I don't really wear my dresses that have a lot of red as often as my other pieces, so I don't feel they're super high priority. And also Sweet Jam, I'm not 100% sure about the fit, and it tends to go for quite expensive. I think it's gotten pretty popular or just kind of rare. I don't think I would pay a lot for it because of my doubt in how it would fit me. And lastly, I have Milky Chan because realistically, again, this is a really expensive dress, and I don't see myself paying upwards of 300, 4, 5, 6. I've seen it go for 700 or 800. So for me, this is more on my wish list if it gets a re-release. In my mid prios, I have also 5 pieces. I have Heart Marine. This is a mid prio because I would really like to have it, but I've never seen the cuts and colors that I want pop up since I joined the fashion. Maybe once or twice, I think in like there's a red colorway or something, and I've seen like a skirt pop up here and there. So it's like I would really like this dress, but it's not super high priority because I don't think I'm gonna find it anytime soon. After that, it's Sugar Fairy Cake, which is a dress that I really like, but it's mid-prio because I haven't seen it for the price that I want, which is lower than average because I don't typically wear a lot of gingham. I don't really have any gingham in my wardrobe. I do like that this one is like a really big gingham, so it's not really as attention grabbing as the small pattern gingham, which, you know, really looks like a traditional gingham print. Yeah, it's just not like a super high priority for me. This is one that I would love to see again in real life. I'm not like chomping at the bit to get it, but if I saw it for a good price, I think I would snatch it up. Cherry Berry Bunny is quite similar to Milky Chan. Realistically, I don't think I'm ever gonna get this one for my budget. It's such an expensive dress on the secondhand market. So I'm more like holding out for the hope of a re-release because I do really love this dress and the Saks and the red colorway. Decoration Dream is here specifically because I would sell my Saks one for the yellow one. Or like I would buy the yellow one at a good price and then sell my Saks one, but I haven't had the money at the right time, or it's just been too expensive when it pops up. And I have Happy Cakes, which if I'm really lucky when this video comes out, maybe I'll have gotten it if it's available when I'm in Japan. This is a dress that hasn't been released yet at the time of filming. It's one of AP's new spring 2025, I think, collection pieces. So I would really, really love it in mint. And if it is released when I'm in Japan, I'll definitely try and buy it. And then for my high prios, right now I have 4 dresses, and I have Kuma Kumiya's Marine Island, which I would say is my highest priority. I only want the JSK one in pink. I have seen it in Saks and I have seen the JSK 2 in pink, but I have not been able to get my hands on this one. I think there's also a mint one that I've seen pop up here and there, but it's not a colorway I want. This is my highest prio because it like keeps evading me. Basically, like I haven't been able to get my hands on this dress and I really, really want it. There's not a ton of BTS SB dresses that I want. So like for me, I feel like this is a big one that I do want. It's also kind of the last like marine piece that I really want that I'm missing in my collection. So I would love to be able to get my hands on it. I guess this is a plea for help. If you have been considering selling your Kuma Kumiya's Marine Island JSK one in pink, please message me. Other than that, retro dot, I would just love this because it's like such a perfect polka dot dress. I think it would be really great to wear a bit more casually or a bit more often. I had Dolly Marine in pink very briefly that was kind of supposed to fulfill that aspect or like a similar style of dress, but I didn't find it very comfortable. It was actually tighter than I expected, so I ended up selling it. So I put retro dot high prio to kind of like replace that. And then Magical Etoile and Candy Funfair I think are kind of similar for me in that I just really like these dresses. I like the bright colors and I like the all over print. I don't have anything that is necessarily this kind of like circusy theme, and I don't think I would coordinate it that way, but I do like the idea of having at least one of these dresses, a little bit of a different theme, and also like mint dresses are quite hard to come by. So I would just really like to have these. I think they would be quite different for my wardrobe right now, so that's why they're high prio, because it doesn't feel like they're too similar to any of my other dresses. I also really love the sailor collar on Magical Etoile, so I would love to get that one. Magical Etoile pops up pretty often, I just haven't got my hands on it yet. I'm not too impatient when it comes to most main pieces, especially at this point since I have such a good amount already. So for my tops, of course, I do love like all sorts of tops in Lolita fashion. Of course, cardigans are kind of my biggest weakness. I just really love them. I've grown to love them a lot for some reason as like a layering piece. Thankfully, I've been able to collect a lot of cardigans and tops. It's a part of my wardrobe that I feel like I've invested a lot into. I mean, obviously financially, but just like I would prioritize buying tops over other items for a long time because I had actually put it off for the first few years in the fashion, and then I just really started liking them. So the pieces that I have on my wish list are really ones that I feel like I don't have something similar in my wardrobe, just particularly for the tops because I already have so many good ones. And you know, it's a lot of like just different styles or colors that I'm missing. So specifically for the low prio, it's a white / multicolor cardigan. So like specifically a white cardigan that has like multicolor bows, like, you know, mint, pink, Saks, etc. Just because I do really like coordinates that are white with kind of like rainbow accents. And I would like to find a long sleeve one because I actually don't have a long sleeve white cardigan at the moment. I have a parka, but you know, that's not that different. So it's not like a super high priority. Sailor collar tops are in low prio because I already have two, a sax one and a pink one. I would just like to have like a lavender one if I could find one, even like a yellow one. So that would be great. And then parkas, again, I already have two, but I would just like them in more colors and styles. For my mid prios, I have the Sherbet pullover, which is the only like specific item I'm looking for as a top. I just started seeing this cutso a lot, especially from Japanese Lolitas. And I was like, oh, I get why it's so popular and why AP keeps re-releasing it. It looks super comfortable. I like the loose fit, and I just like the idea of being able to put it over a dress. It seems really practical, especially for my wardrobe. So it's not super high priority right now because we're going into spring and summer, but I feel like come fall, it might be more of a high prio if I haven't gotten my hands on it. And then a red long sleeve cardigan. I previously had one, but I sold it because it was itchy. Again, I don't wear my red dresses as often as the other ones, so it is more of a low priority, or mid in this case. And then long sleeve blouses, specifically in sax, pink, and yellow. I would really like to get my hands on these because this year I did wear my long sleeve blouses a lot more than in previous years. I have a lavender and a white one. So I do really like styling these, especially under OPs. They're mid-prio simply because I don't think it's realistic to call them a high priority. Finding long sleeve color blouses that would fit me is not going to be an easy task. And I don't think I'm at the point where I would want to buy them brand new. And that's another thing I forgot to mention actually, is all of the budget prices on this list are for buying secondhand, because you just kind of can't do anything about the price of a brand new item. And if I'm desperate enough or love it enough, I will buy brand new. It's just these are my secondhand budgets because that's what I aim for and shop more often from. And then generally speaking, pattern tops and interesting blouses. This is just kind of honestly to give myself permission to buy different tops that like I didn't know existed, that I find interesting, that I see on the secondhand market, and I'm like, oh, I don't have anything like that. It probably should be a low prio, but I just really, really love collecting different tops in Lolita fashion, so it's a mid prio to me. And for my high prios, a white basic blouse. I have a Taobao one that I've had since I started wearing the fashion. It's not bad quality or anything, but it is, I would say, lower quality compared to the rest of the items in my wardrobe now, no matter what brand they're from. It's just, it was like a really inexpensive blouse and it's held up and I still wear it a lot, but I would love to have like a really high quality blouse just so that I feel like it matches the quality of the other items that I have more, especially when I want to wear like an OTT coordinate. This is one where like I wrote the budget as $50 originally, but I would probably increase it. I think I would be willing to buy new now because I've been hunting this for like 6 months at least. And it feels like it's so versatile of an item that I should probably be willing to pay a little bit more for it. And lastly, again, one of my most high priority items is a mint cardigan, specifically short sleeve. I do have 2 long sleeve ones. This has evaded me for a long time. I haven't been able to find one. This is something that I would probably, again, buy new. I would just really like to have one, but mint is such a specific color. And a lot of the time when I see mint, it's a bit too green or a bit too grayish. So I'm really, really hoping to be able to find a short sleeve mint cardigan in the next year. Fingers crossed. Headpieces, I would say, are probably the lowest priority item, generally speaking, for me at this point. I feel like I wear these little like clips the most often, and I don't typically wear anything else to work if I'm like going to the office. And even when I work from home and I take pictures of my coordinates, I do typically take the headpieces off pretty soon after taking a picture because I do find the majority of Lolita headpieces not uncomfortable, but just like not particularly comfortable if all I'm doing is sitting at home and working. Even looking at this part of my wish list for this video, I honestly didn't really remember that I had so many items on it. You can kind of see that only one of the headpieces is high priority, and it's because like all of these items are things that I would like, but again, I'm not really prioritizing buying headpieces right now. So pretty much all of the low priority items are like just specific ones that I want to find that either don't pop up very often or that are usually too expensive. Other than like just multicolor or patterned hair bows, I feel like these are pretty easy to find. It's just I haven't really been asked to buy them because they're low priority. And then in my mid prios, it's really just to kind of, again, fill gaps in my wardrobe. So these are all headpieces that I either don't have a type of or don't have a lot of and know I would get use out of. Maybe like a lacy headdress or a different type of head bow. And speaking of those lace headdresses, I do have 2 on my wish list, in lavender and in red. I put specific items just because I know these exist and are nice in the colorways that I want, but realistically, I would buy any brand if I like it. This triple color ribbon headband is one that I would really, really like. I actually think I could probably put it high priority, but it is usually quite expensive when I see it. I think a lot of people want this item. And then a mini hat. I used to have a pink mini hat. I ended up selling it at a swap meet just because it was quite high, like tall, and I wasn't wearing it very often. I would like to get a flatter one, more similar in shape and size to like my jewelry jelly hat, because I mean, I'm not gonna wear a mini hat very often. And then the Decoration Dream half bonnet, I feel like I could probably move this to low priority, honestly, especially because I would prefer to have the yellow Decoration Dream, and this headpiece often is quite expensive on the secondhand market. And then my only high priority headpiece is yellow headpieces, just because I have one head bow and a couple of clips. And I mean, I guess this counts as yellow, but I would specifically like a new head bow because the head bow is like really big and only really works for OTT coordinates. So I would like one for simpler outfits. Yellow and mint, I feel like, are just the hardest colors to find items of on the secondhand market, which is why so many of my items I feel like are mint and yellow and even lavender. I just feel like yellow and mint haven't been that popular in brand new releases for a while, at least like the styles that I'm looking for from AP specifically. And I do hope that they come back in style, especially like the more pastel perfect yellow. I feel like AP's been doing this like very bright yellow for a while, and it doesn't really fit my coordinates as well. So I haven't even really been liking the things that are yellow that are released brand new, which is #sad. Okay, so for socks, I do have a lot of socks. Actually, the most like individual items I have in one category is socks, but I'll never be satisfied. I love buying socks, and I do want new socks because I feel like I've worn all of the socks that I have really often, and like I would just like some new options. As you can see, a lot of the socks that are on my wish list are just for colorway. So I have like yellow socks in high priority, I have red socks in mid, mint in mid, and lavender socks in low. And that's just because these are like the colors of socks I have the least of. So for yellow, like I only have one. Oh my gosh, per me, right? I only have one. Anyway, I only have one pair of yellow socks, which is why it's in my high priority. And then the others, like red, mint, and lavender, I do have 2 or 3 pairs, but I would like more variety and more options. The ones that are specific items, which are the baby dessert dotted border OTKs, the love border OTKs, and then the wrapping heart tights, are just because I really like these socks and I feel like they would fulfill the colorways I'm looking for anyway. Like socks probably should not be such a priority for me, but I haven't bought any socks in a while, at least since last year. So I feel like I can allow myself a bit of indulgence. So accessories for me are a bit hard to define on my wish list because I feel like it's one of those I'll know it when I see it things. And also I'm always hesitant to spend a lot of money on jewelry because as much as I love the AP plastic jewelry and I think it's gorgeous and I love and wear the pieces that I have quite a bit, I'm never really willing to spend like the $60, $70, $80 it requires to buy them plus shipping. So my accessories wish list is quite short, even though jewelry is kind of a general priority for me perpetually because it's not something that I've invested a lot in. And as much as, again, I love Lolita jewelry, it's just not something that I've ever really found worth the effort to focus on completely because it's just not my favorite part of my wardrobe. It's more something I use to complete my coordinates. and not something that I define my own style or my coordinates by, if that makes sense. So what I do have is more brooches, specifically the now perch ones. I get a lot of use out of the 3 that I have. So I put this on here specifically because I want to pick up a bunch while we're in Japan, because I know I'm going to now perch. I also like wearing brooches a lot because there are some cardigans or like some dresses with big bows that I feel like necklaces just don't work for, but you can put a brooch on the side more easily and it adds color and fills in the space. A half apron, I would really like one, but it's low priority because I wouldn't wear it a lot. I typically wear very straightforward, very basic coordinates most often. So if I found it for a good price, I would definitely buy it, but I'm not like devastated when I see one for a good price and it sells. And then the Happy Garland mini brooch. I put this low prio because, again, realistically, it's always going to be out of my budget. The least I've seen it go for is like $78, and I just don't want to pay that right now. I don't want the big one. I really just want the small one that I can stick in my hair or use like almost as a necklace. It's just so cute, but yeah, I'm trying not to overspend on the things that I wouldn't use very often. And lastly, for outerwear, so I would really like a scarf in the shape of a bow. I've seen this from a few brands and I've seen it a lot with Japanese lolitas lately, but I just haven't gotten my hands on one. I haven't been able to find one. I don't know where all these Japanese lolitas are buying them from, but I think they're so cute. And again, I live in a colder climate, so I think a cute scarf would be very useful. And the most high prio item on my wish list overall is a winter coat, specifically a pink one, and I would pay quite a good chunk of change for one that I really love because I think I'm quite picky, and there's been a lot of nice winter coats I've seen within my budget secondhand, but none of them have been the one, you know? I had a lavender one. I ended up selling it again because it just wasn't perfect and I wasn't like obsessed with wearing it. So I sold it when I did a bit of a clean out, and I would just really love to get my hands on one. My hope and wish and dream, if I'm lucky, is that I find one at like Closet Child or a Baby or Meta or a Peaches has a winter coat left when I go in Japan. It's very unlikely, but that would be great because I would, you know, be able to try it on. My concern with winter coats is always the sizing. If I don't find one before the next year's like release of winter coats from AP, I will probably buy one brand new because I know I'll get a lot of use out of it. It is just going to be quite a big financial investment because winter coats are not cheap. So that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this walk through my wish list. I really hope to be able to check some items off soon. I haven't actually bought a lot of Lolita in 2025. I bought a dress brand new from Baby and a secondhand beret, and I believe that might be it. So I'm really looking forward to doing some shopping. Even though I have quite a bit of stuff on my wish list, I would say that nothing feels like desperate or urgent to me at the moment. It's just kind of nice to haves because I can make so many coordinates still that are new to me with my wardrobe. So I'm still really enjoying what I have and I'm not feeling the pressure to add to it. Honestly, that's the nice thing about having been in Lolita for like 7 years at this point, is you really dwindle down. I do feel like the amount you feel like you need to buy to have complete coordinates and can just enjoy what you do have more already. So let me know what's on your wish list. What is the most high prio item that you are hunting? And I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you in my next video, but until then, bye-bye.